Welcome, everyone, to the Holstein House podcast. I'm the West Virginia woman, Robin, of RobinHolstein.com and Holstein House, where my guests get a great night's sleep at a fair rate plus breakfast. This is a podcast that looks at society and culture issues affecting families in West Virginia and the United States, from food preparation and storage, gardening, home repairs, current events, and more. We'll go around the table and back in 60 minutes or less. So let's hang out and talk a while. Good morning, all y'all. How are you this morning? I am Robin Holstein, the West Virginia woman. I want to welcome you to Tuesday. It is Tuesday, July the 9th, 2024. And man, is it a scorcher outside. But today, this is episode 131 of the Holstein House broadcast, answering questions on hosting a B&B from your home, your food pantry, food preparation and storage questions, and more. And today, we're going to kind of focus on the heat, our gardens, and the fourth doctor. The fourth doctor. Some of you guys will pick up on that right away, and some of you are going to go, eh? But I'm so glad to have you here this morning. We are definitely in a period of excessive heat, and it's just crazy. It's just crazy out there. It is already, it's 85 degrees outside at 10 o'clock in the morning here in my part of Kanawha County, West Virginia, and the humidity in the house is close to 70%, and the air conditioner is just chugging away, trying to keep things cool down here in the house. And it's just really been put through its paces this year. And I tell you what, one of the things that I do want to kind of touch on a little bit as we go through is some of the things, and I know I'm not the only one. There's been a lot of people talking about this summer, especially because it seems like we've had an extended period of higher than average temperatures. Now, before people start getting crazy and start screaming about global climate change, the climate's been changing on the earth since the day the earth was formed. Now, humans haven't always been on the earth. We may not always be on the earth. Who knows? But I'm not I know we can pollute and we shouldn't do that, but I'm not a big believer in the man-made global climate change. I know there's just too many outside things that can contribute to that, sunspots and magnetics and all this other stuff. So, and not being a meteorologist, I'm not going to get into that today unless you guys want to have a chat about it. But also, yeah, we're going to also talk about the garden, and the gardens are, active now. There's a lot going on. I've had a couple questions on a couple of the YouTube's shorts that I've put up, and wanted to kind of talk about that, some pests and some ways to take care of those, or at least try to, if you can get ahead of them. One thing about garden pests is they can get out of hand quickly. You really have, especially if you don't do a lot of chemical treatment, chemical pesticides. So we'll talk about that a little bit too. And then the fourth doctor. I kind of can't wait to talk about the fourth doctor. So anyway, I hope you guys are doing all right. If you whenever you swing by, please say hello in the comment section. Just let me know you stopped by and either liked or didn't like. I mean, you don't always have to like everything. It's okay to have a different perspective, different opinion, and let me know what you think. Give me your comments. If you stop by on a replay, so if you're not here while we're here live and you swing by, to say hello there too, and say I caught you on a replay, or I can only catch you at certain times, then that's fine too. We do take the audio from this broadcast and put it on a podcast for the Holstein House, and that's part of why I've started calling it broadcast instead of podcast or anything else, because some of you guys are seeing the video and some of you guys are just hearing the audio. And either way, say hello. Say hello. I'd like to get notifications from from podcast listeners. It's fun. Excuse me for taking a drink of coffee. I'm a coffee junkie. I will tell you that. Well, alrighty. Like I said, it is July the 9th and episode 131. And I kind of want to talk a little bit about some of the basic stuff that's been going on before we get into the main parts of our conversation. I've had the calendar closed on the direct book for a little while because of some things that have been going on. Mr. Holstein was off last week. He did some work over at Dad's. We took a couple little quick trips. We took the grandnephew to go fishing a little bit. Was it Monday or Tuesday last week? I think it was Monday. Yeah, Monday last week, because it was the best weather of the full week. It was only up into the 80s Monday of last week, and we went early and got him up early and took him out early. And we didn't catch much. We all did catch something, but they were all little bluegill and too little to keep. And we didn't take the boat out. So we've got a little 14-foot aluminum boat. We haven't had it registered or out for several years. So we didn't take it out. So we were bank fishing. And it's hard, especially around here, for bank fishing. West Virginia doesn't have any natural lakes. The lakes that we have are artificially constructed by humans for all that aquatic wildlife. Something good human beings can do. And we, through the years, West Virginia has created a series of dams, whether they're earthen dams or concrete dams. We have a few concrete dams. Most of ours are earthen dams, primarily created for water storage and flood control. Now, you can't stop all floods because you can stop the water that's behind the dam, but you can't stop the water that's in front of it. So it does help. It does help lessen the onslaught if it's if it's a big nasty storm. The storage capacity of each of the structures. I mean, I can't get into the specific numbers because it's been a long time since I worked for the state in that area in Water Resources Conservation Agency, and I just don't remember all the numbers. But we have a massive number of earthen dams in the state, and sometimes they get topped. And we talked about last time the dam out west that was the spillway was active. I mean, and it was the water rolling out of it was eroding some of the spillway, and you got to know what's above you when you locate. So all of you guys who are moving to find homestead and looking around, be sure to pay attention to what's upstream of you, all of the potential construction plans for communities in that. Because the storm runoff and stuff can affect how a heavy storm affects your property. But we took the grandnephew fishing, and we had a good time. We spent most of the morning, and he was well exhausted by that time. But by the time we were finished, he's 14 now, so he baits his own hook, and for the most part, he can take his own catch off the hook. I mean, like all of us, every now and again you need a helping hand, and that's fine too. But so we were off last week, wanted to spend some time with the family. Mr. Holstein and I went to the Art and Crafts Fair in Ripley. If you've never been to an Art and Crafts Fair in West Virginia, the 4th of July Art and Crafts Fair in Ripley, Jackson County, is a wonderful arts and crafts fair to go to. I think it's actually called the Mountain State Art and Crafts Fair. It's held at a location called Cedar Lakes. It's a gorgeous campus, and it's a fun day. A lot of agricultural things, a lot of home crafts and stuff. And we went to the Mountain State Art and Crafts Fair. Well, not specifically, but the final deciding factor on it was their talk on beekeeping. Mr. Holstein has expressed an interest in potentially starting a couple hives, and neither of us know much about it. So we went and listened to the Department of Agriculture's apiarist talk about beginner beekeeping. And we did get some good information on getting in contact with local beekeepers at the conservation district and what we could expect, initial startup costs, and just really basic. I mean, she talked for about 45 minutes, so there's not a lot you can get in 45 minutes, but she did answer our questions and was very knowledgeable and friendly, and it was fun talking to her. So if you have the opportunity to go to an art and crafts fair, you might want to try that. It's a lot of fun. So I've had the guest room closed off for stuff like that, some things that we needed to take care of around here. Then the asthma has been pretty bad. If you have experienced asthma in your life, you know that, or bronchitis. I mean, bronchitis is varying degrees, but bronchitis is similar. If you've ever had bronchitis and had to use an inhaler and stuff, you know how that goes. This heat has really just messed me up. I reached out to my pulmonologist a couple weeks ago and couldn't get in to see him. So I went over to my general practitioner and he gave me a second inhaler to use. And I'm finding that I'm having to use it a good bit. I mean, initially, he was really upset with me because I had waited so long to come in to anybody. And so he gave me the second inhaler to use, and to use it up to 4 times a day. And I really was doing that for most of the next 10 days, and I kind of backed off. But I have noticed that as the heat goes up and I'm having to go outside in the heat, it is bothering me, and not being familiar with asthma as well as I probably should be. It's been a challenge to try to find the balance and to deal with it and manage it. And am I managing it properly? Am I not managing it properly? Is my Apple Watch thing a good method of checking my O2 level? Because it tells you it can check your blood oxygen. Is it as good as that little finger thing that they put on you at the doctor's office? Because if it is, then I'm having really wild fluctuations. I was down to 86% one time yesterday, and I thought that can't be right. So I did it again, and it was barely up, and I did it one more time, and it was barely up again. So when I asked the doctor, I have an appointment on Thursday with the pulmonologist. It was like 3 weeks before I could get in to see him. So I'm going to go see him on Thursday, and we'll see what he tells me and what he wants me to do. I guess he's fine. And he's a lung specialist. I don't know that do I need to see an asthma specialist instead of a pulmonologist? I wouldn't think so, but we'll find out what he has to say. And don't forget, when you stop by on the live chat or the replay, be sure and say hello, because I want to be able to say hello back to you. Haven't done a whole lot. I did work around here as far as on the property. I did work on the coop a couple days ago because of this extreme heat. A lot of you guys know, and I did put it a little short out. A lot of you guys know that I use a Rubbermaid tool shed for my chicken coop, and it has great benefits. I don't have to worry about it rusting. I can hose it out. There's just a lot of things that are good. One of the drawbacks is, and mice don't generally dig, gnaw their way through the floor. One of the drawbacks is the heat. It will heat up quickly, and so these excessively hot days, I've had to, of course, I don't mind to free range my chickens, but I don't want them out all the time, and it's getting hot so much earlier in the day. And the run that they've had, there was one spot where the ducks got out here several weeks ago, and so I had to stop letting them out. I had to block part of the run. Well, I got in there the other day and cut back a lot of the weeds. I think I got all of the escape routes. Ducks are like magicians. They just like to get out. I think I got all their escape routes managed down, and left a lot of well, scrub trees and stuff that normally I would cut out, but right now I'm not going to because it's so hot. It's places they can get under that are shady for them in there. And so I had to fashion a way to keep that door open without letting them out in the yard all the time, because I don't like to let them out until later in the day, closer a couple hours before they would normally go back into roost. That way it's easier to round them back up when it's time to go in. I'm going to try to show you what I did, and it's no big deal, and it's not a permanent fix, and I really don't like it right now. I've got to go back and fix it some more. I have, where is my here? I'm going to find that picture of what I did. Okay. Here we go. This I'm going to share with you. Not you. Get down there. You get here. I'm going to share with you the picture of the coop. And what you see here, this is the Rubbermaid building that I use for the coop. And for those of you who have never seen this before, what I did is I took the windows out. This is just a little green to shade, to give a little shade and to keep the rain out, because the ducks and the chickens for whatever prefer this side of the building for their nesting. And I don't know why. They just do, because I have roosts and stuff all around all three sides, and they just prefer this side. Anyway, right here, this is hardware cloth to provide some ventilation. This is hardware cloth to provide ventilation. I have cut these out all the way through. Normally you don't have that, especially up here. In the back, right up in here in the back, is a ventilation, good size ventilation with hardware cloth over it. And this door here that you can just see the edge of, it matches this door. It also has all four windows out, no plastic in those, and hardware cloth covering them. And this area here is cut out with hardware cloth covering them as well. What I did was I got an old screen from a sliding glass door from a building that we have, and I have propped that up inside here. So I opened both sides. I propped it up on this side, and then I closed this side. I don't like this because a dog or anything could really shove this out and get through and get to the chickens. They probably couldn't get through the little access door, but they could still get to them. But what I'm going to end up doing, if the frame of this screen door isn't too fragile, brittle, I'm going to cover this with hardware cloth. And I'm going to make a way to fasten this so that I can put this up without worrying about an animal, a dog, shoving it in. I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to do that, but this way, anyway, the screen is still in this screen door, so the airflow is there for the chickens. And then on this side, which you don't see in this picture, is the run and where they have their food and their water and stuff. And it has a tarp over the top, so it's 90% shaded over there. So they have plenty of shade, and they have their fresh water and everything. So I'm not worried about that. It's just this gets so hot. You have to have a plan. And I have managed before just because I was able to let them out. But it is just, this summer, it is so hot, so early in the morning, that it just wasn't feasible to leave them just in, all day in the run. Because if they come in here to lay their eggs, it's over 100 degrees in here, and I don't want to do that. So that's that, in case you wanted to see it. That allows me to, darn, I got a little, oh, here we go, scoot that out of the way. That allows me to give them the coop with some airflow and not have to worry as much. But I don't like it. Like I said, I'm going to have to do some work on it. But for now, it's going to have to suffice. Oh, let's see. I got out of order here. I do that a lot. I shared that with you already. So let's start talking a little bit about the garden again. Where's my photos? I'm going to show you. I have harvested. I don't think I had done the last time that we talked. Remember, I had those Jimmy Nardello peppers. I mean, remember, Mr. Holstein brought a bunch of peppers back from Indiana. Pepper plants, I should say, from Indiana. And they're all heirlooms. And I want to show you this. There we go. This is the Jimmy Nardello pepper, and it looks like it's a hot pepper, but it's not. It's an Italian sweet pepper, and I haven't cooked it yet, but I'm going to. It is what I'm reading is telling me that these are roasting. You want to roast them or fry them and use them in Italian dishes. And it does look like a hot pepper. It really does, but it's not. It's not. So it's taken a long time for that one. I do have a second one that is ripe that I collected the other day. Oh, that's some other stuff that I was doing. This is the lady. Hopefully, I think you can see this. This is the lady that did the beekeeping. Yeah, this is the lady that did the beekeeping talk for Department of Ag. And here she's showing what she's got in her hand is one of the bee suits. And something that she mentioned that I didn't know about, and I'm wondering, did you know that your eyeball cannot swell? I never knew that. So one of the things that she was stressing was the need to cover your eyes, especially. So if you are keeping bees and you get to the point where you're not, I'm not going to wear that suit or whatever, you really must cover your eyes, because if you get stung in the eye, you can lose the eye because your eye can't swell. I never knew that. But she's got in these boxes here, she's got samples of the I don't know what you call them. They're the trays that the bees build the combs and stuff on. And that's a little smoker. And I swear I read somewhere that there's a way to harvest honey without using the smoker, and I can't remember what it is. And this is another little sample box or demonstration box of stacking your beehives. And I mean, it was a good talk. She did share in that little bit of time a lot of things that I didn't know about keeping bees. These are two folks that were, that's Robert Schaefer there, and Tracy Greenleaf. Can't think of her last name. It's hyphenated. Greenleaf something. Anyways, they were Robert Schaefer. Well, they're both really very well known and popular in the bluegrass and gospel music areas here in West Virginia. They are very talented people, and they were providing music at the Art and Crafts Fair when we were taking our lunch break. Oh, this is, well, this is a bad picture of a, actually it's a video, I think. Yeah, it's a video. I don't know. I don't know if you could hear that sound or not. Cucumber beetle. I did get that off there. There was a squash bug. And this is what I did. This is the volunteer. Have you ever had a volunteer vegetable? This is a volunteer pumpkin plant that came up. It's actually come up out of, there's some cinder blocks over here at the base of the coop. It came up out of part of this, one of the holes in the cinder block. One of the birds has dropped it there when I fed them pumpkins last year. This thing is monstrous. And what I had to do was take these two old gates and I propped them up. And so that this plant can just crawl up them, and whatever spills over on the other side, I'm going to cut it to keep it off the ground. So I won't cut the whole plant, but I'll cut that to keep it off the ground. And then here's another little makeshift gate fence looking kind of thing over here that I propped up to keep for part of it to go over this side too. And then there's a volunteer corn plant back there. But I had to do something that pumpkin plant was rolling out into my yard. There's Bob and Betty after they had their bath the other day. This, I don't know if you can see this. The volunteer pumpkin plant is going to be also the sacrificial plant. I'm pretty sure this is a full-grown cucumber beetle. It is, I don't know if you can, how well you can see that. It is right here. It is spotted. And there's just the pumpkin plant has got them all. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. It has it all over them. And there's just not a whole lot I can do with them. Here's Pretty Betty. There's Pretty Betty after her bath. They don't like a bath. This is one of my strawberry plants that's on the front porch. You actually can see this particular strawberry right there has been nibbled on by something. I have to get something up there to take care of that. But these are my ever-bearing plants that are finally putting some fruit on. I started them from small, little tiny plants. This is a second pot. This one actually has quite a few runners hanging off of it. Again, the June berries did not do very well at all. They were very disappointing to me, and they just looked terrible on my front porch. So I think I'm going to move them around back now and just have those two everbearings for now. There's Bobo. Bobo, he got his bath yesterday too. He likes to lay in the sun. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. I'm surprised they haven't been barking up a storm. Alrighty now. They're gorgeous little puppies. No, they're not puppies anymore. They're adult dogs, and then some really. Not quite sure how old either of them are. Excuse me. Alrighty, now that we've talked about the garden a little bit, I haven't decided yet if I'm going to plant a second round of anything. I do have plenty of pots. I don't have a lot of space. The container garden has taken about almost all the extra space I have back there, but I guess I could fashion something else. But are you going to start a second garden, a second round of plants in your garden? I don't normally do that. I might this year. My squash plants are producing fairly well, but I got straight-necked and crook-necked. My tomato plants are producing fairly well. The only ones that are ripening up at this point are my cherry tomatoes and the pear-shaped tomatoes. They are just a little bit bigger than a cherry tomato, but they're shaped like a pear. I picked quite a few. I picked just shy of a pint. No, just shy of a quart. Yeah, just shy of a quart of tomatoes today. So I've probably got another couple quarts that I need to deal with. I don't have enough lettuce. I have to go to the store to get some more lettuce to have salads with those. But the Jersey Devil, I can't wait till they start getting that thing is loaded. It is absolutely loaded with tomatoes, and I can't wait till they start getting ripe. I really can't. I've had a couple Roma get ripe. My mortgage lifters are good size, but they're still green. I'm debating, I might try to make a little batch of chow chow. I don't usually make chow chow, so it would be the first time that I've made it. I do have a decent recipe for that, but I don't know. I might. If I do, I'll take you along, but I don't know. I haven't done a cooking video in a while, so I'm overdue for that. The peppers, of course, I showed you the Jimmy Nardello. We have Black Magic peppers, poblano peppers, candy cane peppers, trident peppers, and all of those, I'm not sure when they're ripe. I think the Black Magic ones are probably close. From what I looked at, they're just supposed to get about 3 or 4 inches long, and they're supposed to get really dark skinned. They're about the right length, but they're still just kind of dark green. They're not really dark because they're supposed to be Black Magic, and so they're supposed to have a lot darker. I think, based on the pictures that I've seen, I think they're supposed to be a lot darker. I don't know, so I'm looking for more information on those. And then I need to save seeds, which is something else I'm not very good at. Any suggestions that you guys might offer on saving seeds, I would gladly consider, and would love if you are someone who saves seeds, because these are heirlooms and I want to make sure that I can hang on to them. I don't know how ripe does something have to be before you take the seeds out. Do how do you clean the seeds without activating them? I know I can look them up. It's all there to learn, but I'd love to hear how you do it if you do it yourself. The chickens are struggling with the heat. When I go out, they're panting. They're in the shade. They get their dirt bath. They get their fresh water. I have hydrohen in their water. I change the water out every day anyway, and so they're getting all the things that they need. But it is putting stress on them, so their production level has dropped off again. I am actively looking now for local producers of hens, and chicken hens and duck hens. I want to get 3 or 4 of each, and I want to get those before the end of this month. But I also am going to have to create an area for them, because you can't just throw them all in together. So I'm going to have to do that too. The ducks are doing okay. The young duckling, the one from last year's hatch, she has been trying to nest. She has been molting a little bit, has been trying to feather her nest, and staying on the nest. Kind of, if she was a chicken, I'd call her broody. I don't know if you call ducks broody, but if she was a chicken, I'd call her broody. And I have struggled to get her shoot off that nest in there. I did pick up some artificial bedding from Tractor Supply. They had it on clearance, and it's really just AstroTurf. It's just a piece of AstroTurf, but it's kind of brownish looking, like straw. And I did put that. I had got 3 pieces of that and put that in their nests. And I did that because I'm the nest that I have for them, the way I have their nest box, they're kicking all the straw and stuff out, so they're laying eggs on the hard, and then sometimes they crack them when they're on them. So I thought, well, I'm going to try this. Since they're on clearance sale, they were cut back in price quite a bit. So it was worth the investment just to try it. You can hose those off, if they get overly dirty, and you're not replacing that straw all the time. They do seem a little hot. They don't have good airflow, but they seem to be working okay. The girls aren't afraid of them. One quick note, I think some of you guys know from my past conversations with you that my church, the Diamond United Methodist Church, was struggling. We had put a new roof on. We got that paid off, and then our insurance did not cover us again. They told us to look elsewhere, and finally called the district superintendent up and said, I can't do this anymore. We had a long list of things that we'd been done over the past couple of years to try to draw the community in to be more active in the church, and it did not work. So we had our final closing ceremony, our final service and closing on June the 30th. So the church is officially closed. There are a few bills that we have to pay. The roofer, as much as I love him and he's done excellent work for us, he lost the check, the final check, and didn't respond when I asked him about it. And finally, I had to, say, look, I'm trying to close out the books. You got to tell me something. And he finally reached out to me on Sunday and said, I don't know, can you give me a replacement check? And his wife came and picked that up. And she said, I remember that check arriving. I handed it to him. I don't know what he did with it. Well, it wasn't, the first check wasn't cash, so I'm not worried about that. But I did give him another check. And I know that has been processed now. And so we can finally get those books taken care of. I haven't decided exactly. The district superintendent has asked me to become what they call a assigned supply, and that's where you're kind of like a substitute. And I'm not really comfortable with this because I'm not real comfortable with the decisions that the United Methodist Church has made. But I'm thinking of going ahead and accepting assigned supply for a little period of time so that maybe other churches that are struggling can stabilize enough to decide whether they're going to stay with the United Methodist Church or not. And I will not be speaking in favor of some of the, I won't be presenting or preaching on things that I do not believe, whether or not the United Methodist Church agrees or not. And it's just it'll be a placeholder while I work through, what churches I'm going to look into, where am I going to go. I need to be attending somewhere. I need to be active. Otherwise, I will go, just like if you don't do anything, you lose your skill, you lose your abilities and stuff. You have to keep moving. So I think I'm going to do that while I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to go, where I'm going to land. And I don't know that even with assigned supply that I'll be that busy. So we'll see what happens there. Now, sorry, I keep doing that. But I wanted to share with you that the church is closed. So I'll be looking for a new one. I wanted to touch real quick on, how much time do I have here? No, I don't want to spend too much time on it, though. I want to talk on those other topics. There is an organization called the Appalachian Regional Conference, and the purpose of that organization is a nonprofit. It's been around a long time. It's tried to lift Appalachia up out of the financial morass that it's been in. Appalachia is known for poverty, and since at least John F. Kennedy back in the 60s, people have sunk millions and millions of dollars into programs to get, to bring Appalachia up. Well, there's a, let me see, where is it? Is it this one? The Appalachian Regional Commission does an annual report, and the recent one, classifying economic distress in Appalachian counties, is really, it sounds so wonderful. And one of the things that I keep clicking the wrong one. One of the things that I want to show you. Why can't I share this page. I don't want to stop sharing. I want to share this page. That's where I need to have someone here helping me. All right, this is what I want to show you. So this is it's called an interactive map of economic status and distress areas in fiscal year 2025. So this is a projection. This is projected into next year, next fiscal year, which starts, depending on where you are, it either starts July 1 or October 1. For the feds, it's October 1. It's hard to make out some of the state lines here. Let me see if that helps any. We go click, this is Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. This is New York. The Appalachians go way up in there, but right through here, and of course down here to Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, the Carolinas, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia. It is a dubious honor. The whole state of West Virginia is here. It's hard to see here, but West Virginia is the only state in the United States that is wholly within the Appalachian Mountains. This is our northern panhandle up here, eastern panhandle, our border with Virginia, our border with Kentucky, our border with Ohio on the Ohio River. While Appalachia goes through all of these states, we're the only ones that is totally comprised of it. Now, what the areas in red are the distressed area. The areas in kind of a pinkish color are, kind of sort of a little bit distressed, and the white areas are transitional, which means they're either transitioning into or out of a distressed area. My area is Kanawha County. It's right here in the middle of the page, kinda. I don't know if you can see my pointer there, but this report, let me see, where did it say? There is a one that talks about, oh, darn it. Okay, so it says in some cases, specific areas within counties are considered economically distressed, even if the whole county isn't. ARC assigns the distressed area designation to census tracts in at-risk and transitional counties that have median family income no greater than 67% of the U.S. average and a poverty rate 150% of the U.S. average. I don't know why they don't just tell you what it is. Well, what they say in this, what I was hoping, I can't remember where it actually went, because it says, there's a spot on this. I was looking at it the other day, and that's why I wanted to share this with you. Okay, well, darn it, it was right there. I was looking right at it. The ARC has been computing an index-based county economic classification annually since fiscal year 2007. While the number of distressed counties can fluctuate from year to year, the current number is the lowest level recorded in the 19 years of ARC's index system. Now, it's very interesting that this was published. Okay, of course, this is an election year. They're going to publish this every year anyway. I caught that bolded language there very particularly. The lowest recorded in the 19 years of ARCs. All right, so this is projected for next year, but it's obviously this year. They're projecting it at 77. Okay, the number of distressed counties in Appalachia. 77. 78 in 2021. In 2021. 80, 81, 84, 84, 84, 93 in 2016. So we were up as high as 93 in 2016. That was the projection. Now it was projected in 2015. Remember, it's a calendar year behind. What was happening in 2016? Right? Okay, so it was at 93 projected for the fiscal year 2016, which was an election year, right? The first year of who? Donald Trump. What do you notice happening? And it's right here. It's right here. So in 2012, we're at 96, and 98 in 2013. Then we go down to 93, and then 90, and then back up to 93 in 2016 projected. Then we go down 84, 84, 81, 80. This 2020 is projected in 2019. 2020 was an election year. Projected for 2021 was 78, which is projected in 2020. I hope you guys are catching what I'm saying here. So the final year of the Trump administration, they projected the following year to be at 78. Okay. So it's going down, down, down. The new administration comes in, it's going up, 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 and then suddenly, boom, down to 77. It drops, what is that, 6 points? 5 points? 5 points. It drops 5. Boom. I don't believe it is what I'm telling you. I think it's all political. It's a political push to say, you know, oh, look how great. And this is why, is because of the election year and who runs the ARC. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot more time on this. I have links in. I'll put links in the description. I don't think I have them there yet. I'll go back and put them in there so that you can check these out. But the only other thing I wanted to show you, and hopefully this changes it. See this? Oh, it didn't change. Share this tab instead. There we go. Now you should see it. You see her? Federal co-chair, Gail Connolly Manchin. Now, Gail Manchin is married to Joe Manchin. And until this year, all of his life, Joe Manchin has been a Democrat. Until this year. And his wife sits on, and I'm not saying she's a bad person or anything. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just talking politics straight up, black and white. They're Democrats. He may have changed his party. He changed, in my opinion, he changed his party affiliation so that he wouldn't be pressured by either side to be their nominee for president because they won out of Washington. Now, something else with Gail. You know these 6 degrees of separation? Gail's executive assistant has been with her since, wow. She's the daughter-in-law of one of the big UMW guys here in the county. And her name's Missy Phelan. She was a McDermott. When she was a maiden name was McDermott. I went to junior high and high school with Missy's brother. Well, with Missy too, but she's younger than me, but with her brother and her husband. And they're all high-powered Democrat families. And Missy has been with Gail for 25 years or more. Oh, way more than that. Wayne and I have been married almost that. Heck yeah, she's been with her for a long time. So, yeah, that's just one of those trivial things. But yeah, so Democratic, the Democrat Appalachian Regional Commission projects, and my county, Kanawha County, is projected as one of those transitional, but we actually have an increase in the number of areas in Kanawha County that are designated as distressed. So our although we're listed as transitional, we have an actual increase in the number of areas in the county that are just considered distressed by the Appalachian Regional Commission. Just a little trivia. Just a little trivia. And then, oh, I keep hopping around here. You guys don't know. I got about 10 minutes. So let's go ahead and talk. I'm going to skip the international. The international thing that you need to know about is the heat index. And you guys pay attention. The heat is going to be outrageous. We're talking feels like temperatures above 100 here in Kanawha County this week. There you stand a significant increase in potential for heat stroke and heat exhaustion. And I'll put a link in the description as well to more information on the signs of heat stroke and heat exhaustion and what to look for. But one of the things that I really wanted to talk to you guys about was the fourth doctor. Now, some of you guys caught on to that really easily. Some of you guys are going, huh? But I'm talking about the science fiction program Doctor Who. Okay, and a lot of people who love that show, and you get around other people who enjoy the show as well. And this is just some fun. It's not gardening. It's not politics. It's not any of that stuff. It's just fun. Doctor Who is a science fiction character that was created in Britain, in England. It started off as a radio program. They put it on television. I don't remember. I want to say it was in the 60s that it first started. And the condensed version is a character called the Doctor is a time traveler. He's a time lord, and he's from a planet called Gallifrey. And the stories follow him in his different places. He's hopping through the known universe and known planets and all of these things, and interacting with alien life forms and things. And there's always some kind of a struggle. Somebody's trying to kill him, or somebody's got something. They're trying to destroy the Earth. And he comes and goes to Earth more frequently than he does to other planets. He usually has a companion traveling with him. Many times it's a female companion because, back in the 60s, the man was traveling with the woman, and that's not it. It is, by today's standard, really, elementary in its storylines and stuff. But for the early shows, of course. But I've always enjoyed it. I love Doctor Who, and generally people who are fans of the program know who their first Doctor is. In other words, the first character that they recognize, that they started watching the program, the series on. And mine was the fourth Doctor, played by Tom Baker. And I started watching it when I lived in Texas, out in Killeen, Texas, we just bought a little tiny television at the pawn shop. And I could sometimes pick up PBS, and they were playing now. Now I was there in the 80s, so this was already in reruns by the time I got to see it. And so I'm living in Killeen, Texas in 1982, and I'm watching Doctor Who on a little tiny black and white television, and with an antenna on, I believe it was Sunday nights it was on, and Tom Baker was the first Doctor that I ever watched, and I really enjoyed it. The science fiction, but it's not the way out there Dune science fiction stuff that I ever did really care about. And it was just enough science fiction fantasy that I could latch onto it and enjoy without it being, too syrupy and goofy. But what I wanted to share with you about this, and of course I could go on for hours about Tom Baker, but we're watching, if you have streaming service on your television, Mr. Holstein and I are watching a streaming service called Tubi, 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 and they have classic Doctor Who series, and you can watch them from the beginning to the end. Now, we didn't go back and pick up the first, second, and third Doctors, we started straight off with the first episode where the fourth Doctor is regenerated. And what happens is the Time Lords, the Gallifreyan Time Lords regenerate, and you're initially told that they can only regenerate 12 times. So, but later on, there's a way found around it so that they can continue the series even to today. It's still going on even to today. But we're watching this on the free TV streaming app called Tubi, and we're up to season 17 now. These aren't all. We didn't watch all seasons, all 17 seasons to get here. But Tom Baker plays the Doctor for about, I think it's 12 years, and so we're now up to the second Romana character. So Romana is a companion for the Doctor, who is also a Gallifreyan female Time Lord, and the original lady that played her didn't renew or didn't continue after her first season. So a young lady at the time, named Layla Ward, took over that role, and they explained the change in persons by saying that she regenerated. I'm not a big fan of Layla Ward. I watched her on the Duchess of Duke Street, which is another BBC classic TV program. She comes in towards the end of the second season, and it was only 2 seasons long, the end of the second season, as the daughter of one of the main characters. I just didn't care for her. I don't care for her acting as Romana either, but it's neither here nor there. The storylines are fun, and there's always, we sit back and laugh at the special effects now and the costumes and stuff compared to today's stuff. It's absolutely hysterical. But yeah, so I'd love to hear, if you are a Doctor Who fan, I'd love to know which is your favorite Doctor. Tom Baker, being my first Doctor, is my most favorite. Then 10th Doctor was played by David Tennant, and David Tennant also had a role as a Death Eater. Oh, darn it. I can't remember the first name, but it was, I want to say Barty Crouch Jr. in the Harry Potter series. And I mean, he's had a lot of other roles too, but my favorite role for him was the 10th Doctor, and then the 12th Doctor, Capaldi. I liked him too. I didn't like the storyline for the 12th Doctor. I didn't like it at all. I didn't like the writing at all. But I liked Capaldi's acting. So I'd love to hear who your favorite Doctor was. Well, we're coming up on an hour, and I like to keep these right at an hour. If you got this far and you haven't subscribed, or you haven't liked, or you haven't commented, I invite you to do so. If you've gotten this far and you want to consider staying at Holstein House, you can go to robinholstein.com and go to Holstein House on the menu. And if you use the discount code BROAD, BROAD, and the number 5, BROAD5, you get 5% off your direct book bill for that. And also you can go to robinholstein.com, go to the contact page, and see where you can reach me on all the different types of social media and email. And we also have a Telegram group that you're more than welcome to join at Telegram at t.me/Holstein House Chat. So I really appreciate you being here. I really had fun today, and hope that you'll find something of some use and something that you might like. And I invite you back next time. The best way to know when next time is going to be is to subscribe. Because right now things are in flux and I don't have a steady schedule. But we're looking forward to meeting with you again, and keep an eye out for the shorts and stuff, and look us up on the different social media sites. And so until next time, bye-bye.
So there you have it. Post your comments, do all that boosting, liking, sharing, thumbs up, and stuff that helps spread the word and poke the algorithms. Follow me on most of the big social media platforms and look for my name, Robin Holstein, or Holstein House. Till next time, bye-bye.